Hey y'all, welcome back to Mo Budgets and Adventures. I'm Monique, and today I'm going to give you all my honest review of my time spent on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise cruise ship. So if you're like me and you want to travel on the budget, stick around as I give you my honest review of my time spent on this cruise. Let's go. Now, I would first like to say that I travel on this cruise ship as part of a special promotion through GOVX. And through GOVX, they allow heroes, which are to be military, police, fire and EMS workers, medical workers, government workers, and educators. So, as part of their special promotion as an educator, I was able to take advantage of this cruise on the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise ship. Now, even though this was technically a free cruise, I was still responsible for paying the taxes, I think the port charges, the gratuity, and any other additional fees outside of just the cruise fare. So there was no cruise fare. We essentially had to pay gratuity and taxes and all of the other little miscellaneous fees that come with cruising. All right, so in today's review, I want to talk about my experience with the food, the room, the entertainment, customer service. I also want to kind of touch on the price at the very end, and I'll give you more details about what fees we had to pay and how much it totaled for two people. And I'll also answer the question, would I sail again? All right, and All right, so I do have my notes here in front of me on my computer. So if you see me kind of looking down or looking to the side, just know that I have a set of notes that I'm referencing because I want to make sure that I give you guys all of my details about my experience on this ship, and I don't want to ramble. So to keep things kind of in order, we're going to reference the notes every now and then. The first thing I want to talk about is the food on the ship. All right, so quite naturally, when you get on the ship, if you've ever taken a cruise, the first thing that you want to do when you get on is go and eat. You want to put your bags down and you want to go eat. You're typically hungry. It's normally a long travel day, get into the port, so you want to go eat. And that was the first thing that we did once we got onto the ship. We did get the opportunity to put our bags down first, and then we went to the main buffet. And one thing I can say is that we really and truly enjoyed the food. It was hot, it was fresh, it was tasty. Um, I know some travelers on other cruise ships have said that some of the food can be bland. We did not experience that in the buffet. Another thing that I like to highlight is the dining room, the formal dining room, which we did visit twice, and I think we were only on there for 2 nights. But usually we don't go to the formal dining room a lot. We go maybe once or twice on a longer sailing, and the rest of the time we choose to just get our food at the buffet because it's quicker and we can get to the next activity. But the food in this dining room, y'all, was so delicious. It was so tasty. The menu was amazing. And I really enjoyed it. Of course, you get the white tablecloths, the wine glasses, and it was a great menu. And the food, like I said, was perfectly seasoned. It all came out hot and warm. The dessert was also good. I had no complaints about the food in the dining room or on the buffet. Um, Another thing that they have on this ship is the burger place. So the burger place was located on the back of the ship where they had the beef cheeseburgers and you can get the french fries. And they also had veggie burgers. Which I felt like was a plus because I do not eat the beef burgers. So I was very excited to have the opportunity to have a veggie burger, and I like that it was in the same place as the beef burger, so you didn't have to go to a separate area to find the veggie burger. Um, I like that. One thing that I was disappointed about when it came to the food was that the pizza was not complimentary. And if you have sailed on other cruise ships like Carnival, for example, one thing you look forward to as a midnight snack is pizza. And unfortunately, on this ship, there is a pizza restaurant, but it is not complimentary. We did purchase um, a whole pizza, but and we ate some of it. It was pretty good. It was pretty tasty. I didn't get that on film because it was like the New Year's Eve celebration, just go get a pizza type of thing. It was pretty good. It was tasty. I would recommend that you all, try it, and they do consider that as a specialty dining option. So prior to boarding, you can opt to do the pizza restaurant as a specialty dining option, and I think it came with, if I recall correctly, you get a pizza, you get a glass of wine, and a salad or something like that for two people. And it was fairly reasonable. I don't think it was over $30. I put the price somewhere in here. I feel like it was 19 or $30 for two people. So if you're looking for a inexpensive, budget-friendly, specialty dining option on this ship, I would definitely say go and try the pizza. The next thing I want to talk about is the room that we had on the Margaritaville Paradise ship. I'll show you clips of our room. When we arrived, the room was bright. It was airy. We had a window. We did have a room with a window, so they kind of contributed to it being bright. But it felt very spacious. Everything was clean. I love the decor. I love the fact that it was clean and it was big enough for the two of us to be comfortable in. The room came standard with a king bed, which could also be converted to two double beds if you have two individuals who don't sleep in the same bed. There was also two comfortable cushy chairs in the room, and there was also a little table for you to use as well in between the two chairs if you wanted to put a drink there or your cell phone. The room also had a vanity area which had plugs on the side of the wall, and there was also a mirror if you wanted to sit there and do makeup. The vanity area I feel like could also double as a desk. If you had some work to do, you could sit there and easily get it done. There was a closet. I think there were two closets actually, and there was also a little refrigerator in the room which we used just to kind of keep drinks cold. And there was a bathroom that had a shower, toilet, and sink. It wasn't very fancy, but it was clean and it got the job done after a long day out at the port and on the ship. So I would definitely give the room a 10 out of 10. We typically choose interior cabins when we are paying big money for our cruises. So it was very nice to for once have a room with a window. All right, so the next category I want to tell y'all about the entertainment on the ship. And I'm referring to my notes on this one. So I really, really enjoyed the entertainment. They did some of the same things that you would see on some of the bigger brand ships. And again, I'm used to traveling on Carnival, so I'm kind of comparing this ship to my experiences that I've had on Carnival. Um, so, with that being said, they had some of the same things that you see on the bigger brand ships, like the sail away party. They did a Cuban night where they had a Cuban band. You had the nightclub, and there was just all kind of things going on. There was a casino for entertainment. You had some adult games that were scheduled. And look, y'all, I kept my little itinerary, which is what they gave us every night. And let me just tell you some of the things that was on here. I'll just read you a few. Name that Christmas tune, hits and mixes with DJ Red, bar mixology class, Caribbean Heat production show, piano bar music sing-along. There was a gift shop raffle and alcohol tasting. I missed that. I don't know how I missed that. Then you have the lip service karaoke. dance party with the Latin duo, Margaritaville Glow Countdown. We went for New Year's Eve, so they did have a countdown. And then after that, you had the late night party with DJ Red, where you had to be 18 or older, and that was starting at 12 a.m. in the morning. So you kind of had something to do all day, y'all. Like literally all day. These were all the events going on the ship all throughout the day. And as you can see, I kind of went through with my ink pen and underlined what I was interested in. And that brings me to another personal review of the ship is they do not have an app. So if you are used to traveling on Carnival and having all of your activities earmarked in your phone or the app or any other big brand cruise ship, you're not going to get that on the Margaritaville. You're going to have to go around with this paper, but it's very detailed. It has everything that you need to know about the ship, everything going on with your port that day, and everything going on the ship that evening. This is what it looks like. So that was one thing that I did notice about the ship. There's no app, so don't look for that. Another thing that I missed, another activity that I did miss was the bingo and the comedy show. Did I say they had bingo? They didn't have bingo, y'all. Nope, no bingo and no comedy show. And those are really, really popular for me. You know, I like to do those activities when I'm on the cruise ship. I look for the bingo and I look for the comedy. But despite not having bingo in a comedy show, I do feel like there was plenty to do. Like, I did not feel bored. I did not feel like I had nothing to choose from off this list. I did not feel like there was any time in my day where there was just nothing to do, nothing fun to do. I really enjoyed the few things that we did get to go to from this list of activities. So I do think that they're doing a great job. Their variety shows, like the shows that they do, they're very, very well thought out, very high production show. So I would suggest that you go and check those out if you decide to take this cruise. Next category is customer service. Now, typically when I book my cruises, I do book 100% through the website, and occasionally I'll have to call customer service with questions leading up to the cruise. And this cruise was no exception. I did have to call customer service with questions because this was my first time cruising on the Margaritaville at Sea Cruise. So my questions were to the customer service agent were there any hidden fees that I needed to be concerned with before getting on the ship? And I'm so glad that I did call. My air conditioning unit is kicking on, y'all. I'm so glad that I did call because we did have to pay for a gratuity when we got on the ship, and there was another charge that we had to each pay, which totaled to an additional $66 per person once on the ship. My question also to customer service was if there was a theme night, because I knew we were traveling through New Year's Eve and I wanted to make sure we had the right attire. I was told at the time that there was not a themed attire that we had to wear, and that they would most likely still celebrate New Year's Eve on the ship. Fast forward to us getting on the ship, y'all. It was said that it was an all-white party. However, I did not have any white, and I didn't feel bad about it because not a whole lot of people got that memo either. There were a lot of people that just wore whatever they bought to wear for that New Year's Eve party. And by the way, they never told us that it was a New Year's Eve party. We just kind of assumed that we were sailing on the New Year's Eve cruise, that they would naturally celebrate New Year's Eve, and they did. There was the countdown, there was the champagne toast, there was the DJ. I mean, they did it. I have no complaints about that part. My only tad bit complaint, and not even a complaint, I'm just making it known, is that sometimes customer service doesn't know everything. Because I specifically asked the question, what is the theme? They told me there was no theme, no special attire to be worn. And then I get on the ship and they're talking about all white. So that's all. But at the end of the day, y'all, I had all black. I made it through that night. Everybody had on whatever they wanted to wear, and we had a great time. All right, y'all. So literally, I'm sitting under the gazebo, and it is pouring down, raining. I'm not getting wet right now, so we're gonna hurry up and wrap this video up. I want to quickly tell you how much I paid, and I'm gonna look at my notes. If you see me looking down, that's why. I'm gonna tell you how much I paid. So again, I booked this cruise using the GOVX website, and that is down below in the description. Um, as an educator, I was able to qualify as one of the heroes. So my cruise fare was free. However, we did have to pay taxes and fees, which equal to $222. And that was for two people. $222 for two people, not a piece together. Gratuities were like $66 each, and that was gratuities plus some other fee. We were only on there for 2 nights, so gratuities weren't that much. So the total for two people was $354, y'all. That comes out to about $177 each to go to the Bahamas. And it was 2-night cruise. All of our food was included. Our lodging was included. Our transportation to the Bahamas was included, and back from the Bahamas back to the U.S. All of that was included. So when you think about $177 per person, that was a deal. That was a deal. And we had fun, y'all. I think I will rank this cruise to be one of my top 5 cruises. Okay, my number 1 is my Alaska cruise. It's just beautiful there. I haven't been anywhere else that has beat Alaska out. The next section is, would I sail again? Yes, 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 I will go again. Yes. I mean, despite the few things that I mentioned, like no app, no free pizza, no comedy show, no bingo, I would 100% sail on this cruise ship again. I mean, it was a quick trip. We got on, we stayed 2 nights, we got to the Bahamas, we ate, we toured the Bahamas, and we came on back home. We partied on that ship. Um, I have no complaints. I have no complaints. None whatsoever. I think a lot of people get on this ship with high expectations because they have sailed on other big brand ships and they compare. Yes, I did make a few comparisons, but I didn't let those things ruin my experience or my time on this ship. I am able to realize that every brand is different. They're going to do things different, and you're going to have a different experience on every brand. When I get on Carnival, I know that I can get in that app and plan out my day. I now know that when I get on Margarita, I got to get my paper and my pen and plan out my day. So I think going into this cruise with no expectations at all, I think that's the best way, and just see what happens, see how the day goes. Plan out as much as you can and just kind of see how the rest of it unfolds. But yes, I would travel on this ship again. I want to do the Islander the next time. They have 2 cruise ships, the Paradise and the Islander, and I think the Islander is a bigger ship, so I do want to experience that one. Why not? I mean, I had a great time on this one. Why not go and see what that one is about? Now, before I go, I do want to remember to give you all the steps to go and create your own GOVX account so that you can possibly sail free as well. Just make sure that you are aware that you will have to pay those additional fees that I mentioned, but there's no fee to sail. Again, so you're going to go to GOVX. The link is down in the description. You must be a military individual, someone in the military. You must be a police officer, a firefighter, or EMS worker, someone who is in the medical field, government worker, or educator in order to create an account. They will verify that you work there. I actually had to use my school or educator's email in order to create this account. So once you create the account, you're going to go to the right hand corner and you're going to filter your search to travel. Once you filter your search to travel, you're going to look for cruises. You're going to find Margaritaville at Sea Cruises. You're going to see all of them. You're going to see Carnival, you're going to see MSC, Norwegian, Princess, Disney. You're going to see all of them, but I want you to look for Margaritaville. That is the only one that I saw that's giving away the free cruise. So once you find the Margaritaville tab, click it, and the big old banner will come up that says Heroes Cruise, and then you're going to click it and you're going to just follow the prompts to reserve your cruise. There are going to be some certain dates that you might have to abide by. It might only be going to certain locations by the time you book, and it might only have certain room types available by the time you book. So just be flexible, okay? Mine was leaving out of West Palm Beach, Florida, which is right outside of like Miami area, and that worked perfect because we were already planning to take a trip down to Key West, Florida, and we just kind of tacked that on to the beginning of the Key West, Florida trip, and it worked perfectly. So I hope that helps. All right, let me know down in the description if you have any comments, questions, or concerns. I answer all questions, and until we adventure again, I'll see you next time. So if you've made it this far, I hope you enjoyed this video on my honest review of the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise ship. What do you all think? Is this a ship that you would think about getting on? Have you already been on it? If so, down in the comments, tell me what you thought about it. What didn't you like? What did you like? And would you do it again? Until next time, see you later.